Liverpool 2, Newcastle 2. It was a last minute moment from Dominic Szoboszlai, which ultimately saved Liverpool from embarrassment. I don't think Liverpool were that good today. This is going to be a match reaction from the game. We look at Liverpool, we look at Newcastle. It was an eventful game, the whole Isak stuff, and we'll have a conversation about it. But first and foremost, what a game week has been, the opening Premier League game week. We've seen City late win, we've seen United get battered, we've seen Arsenal do their thing. But today it was all about Newcastle against Liverpool, and Szoboszlai did save Liverpool. I think we'll talk about Liverpool first. I think they were probably the favourites going into the game. I think if you're looking at how they played, they were pretty underwhelming in my opinion. I think there's not many new players in the team, and yes, they dominated possession and they had more XG. But I'm looking at Liverpool and they were quite toothless today. I think they couldn't get Alexander Isak into the game. And where was Alexander Isak today? £125 million signing, the most expensive transfer in the Premier League of all time, and he just didn't show up today. There were 2-3 very good chances created for him from Liverpool, and he just couldn't deliver. I know it was a tough game for him, but you expect him to convert those sort of chances. And I don't want to hear the argument Liverpool didn't play to Isak today, because they were creating chances for him, and he should have done better. The one where I think it was Gakpo pulled it back to him, and he just skied it over. I think Gakpo was Liverpool's best attacker today, and Isak did not show up. And again, there's going to be, if he doesn't deliver this season, there's going to be a lot of conversation. There's going to be a lot of talk about Alexander Isak because of the price tag, and he ultimately has to deliver. It's the second season now, and I know it's only one game, but you're looking after this, can he get some goals? He's a 20-25 goal a season striker, and he proved it at Newcastle. Obviously last season he got the benefit of the doubt because he was out with injury, but I think this season there's a lot of pressure on him to do well. And this game today wasn't the greatest from Isak, to be honest with you. I just don't think he looked that great. And I don't know what Liverpool fans think. Do you think Ekitike is the better striker out of the two? I don't know. But Isak today was pretty poor up front. And another player, Florian Wirtz, again, £115 million did he cost Liverpool today. Again, just doesn't look great. He's in the same situation as Isak. If he doesn't start doing well this season, doesn't start doing things, there's going to be a lot of conversation about him, because Liverpool did invest a lot of money into those two players, and especially Florian Wirtz. I just don't think he's got the chemistry. He doesn't really have that one player that he can, create moments with. And I think with Wirtz, today was just a very difficult game for him. It's probably his worst game I've probably seen of him in Liverpool. Last season was pretty decent, but this one I think he was quite sloppy. Gave the ball away, couldn't make things happen. And I think Liverpool, to be honest, as a team, were really, really bad. I'm looking at, I think Xhaka had a very good game, but I think for Virgil van Dijk, and from his perspective, he's got essentially 3 new players, and he's got to sort of bring them in together. He's got to lead all of them. Xhaka is still a young player. Frimpong is so obvious he's not a right back, and I've seen a clip from Iraola saying that Conor Bradley is going to be that right back when he's fit. So I think that's obvious. I think right now it's just getting someone in there in that position. But Frimpong wasn't great today. Again, defensively for Liverpool, we know how good Van Dijk is, but even Xhaka, even Van Dijk to an extent, he did look a bit shaky today defensively. When Newcastle hit on a counter-attack, obviously Gravenberch had an alright game, got the assist for Liverpool for the Cody Gakpo goal, which was quite good. And the fact that Cody Gakpo is a player that Liverpool want to sell, but he was their best attacker today. If Liverpool looked at any point that they were going to score, and which obviously they did through Cody Gakpo, I think he was a really good player, and maybe Liverpool might be making a mistake selling him, because as good, he might have his down moments, but I think he's someone who proved today he can actually provide something with Liverpool. You don't know who else is going to come into the team. Ngamo is still a young player. They still haven't signed, a right winger to replace Salah. So keeping Gakpo might not be the worst thing for Liverpool at this current moment. And again, he will someone that will chip in with a few goals here and there. And the one that he got today was very important. So I think Liverpool should definitely look at keeping Cody Gakpo. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. In terms of Newcastle, listen, Newcastle's game plan was absolutely spot on. Their new manager, I don't have to pronounce his name yet, but his master plan worked today, and I know they got a draw in the end. The way in which they set up was fantastic. 4-2-3-1. And listen, there was a lot, I didn't know what I was going to expect in the midfield. They've lost Gameres, no Tonali either, and Joe Linton was out. So Miley, Wissa and Stewart put in 3 very good performances. Stewart, I didn't really know too much about him. He's only 18 years of age. He was absolutely fantastic in the midfield. But what happened to Johan Wissa today? This was the Johan Wissa that we saw at Brentford, in the number 10 he was fantastic. He was making things happen. He was all over the pitch for Newcastle. And if Newcastle can get him going this season, whether it is in the number 10 or in the number 9 position, I think he can be a very key player for them. There's a lot of hype when he obviously signed from Brentford. And last season he was out of the team due to injury. He couldn't really get consistent games, wasn't even in form. But the season before that, he did score 20 goals for Brentford in the Premier League, and he's only 1 out of 4 players to do that. So I think Wissa definitely is the player there. As I said, if he can stay fit, I think he will be the main starting striker for them. But he had a really good performance today in the team. I think the counter-attacks, as I said, from Newcastle were great. Obviously, they got the first goal from there, and it was a great finish from Alanga. I think one thing I like to say about Alanga, I know this sounds crazy considering he did score the goal, but if he can work on his end product at times, whether that's his cross into the box or his final shot, I think he'd be a really good player because he's got electric pace. How many times did he cut Kirkes down the right-hand side today? Sometimes his finishing is a bit off, and again, that's something that I've seen firsthand at Manchester United. At Forest, I would say he's more creative. Obviously, did get goals, but yeah, if he can work on his finishing, like that ball that Asula played to him, like the pace, he was miles behind Kirkes. He just got that pace. I think he really would be a good player. And again, Newcastle, much better for performance than I expected. You look at all the players that they lost. They lost Kieran Trippier, they lost Tonali, they lost Anthony Gordon, they lost Gameras, they lost their manager. Like Dan Burn was out of this game. Walter Mardy was on the bench. The players did a very good job, and again, the players that come off the bench, Chris Willock was brilliant. Jacob Ramsey had a part to play. Murphy, they did have chances in the game, and there were a few moments where Wissa could have scored. Jacob Murphy put that cross into the end, and obviously it is devastating for Lewis Hall to give the ball away, and Szoboszlai, comes up with a great moment for Liverpool to win in the game, and what a great penalty it was. But again, it'd probably be, if I was the two managers, I'd probably be more frustrated from a Liverpool point of view. The way in which they played was quite lacklustre, and it is very early into the new reign, and there's a lot of good players there. There are still a few areas. I think they need one big attacker, whether that is Barcola. I mean, he's probably the only player that's attainable to them now. I mean, they should go out and just get him, because as much as Ngamo is a talent, is he ready to be playing first team football yet? I don't know. Especially, I think he's way better on the left hand side, and I think from a Liverpool point of view, they are just putting him there. They're saying that he wants to be the right winger, but I think they're just putting him there to just to fill positions. To be honest with you, I think you go out, spend the money, get a right winger in, use Ngamo on the left. Munoz is still a young player, but they really do need to get that Salah replacement in, because they can't go into the season with Munoz and Ngamo as their right wing options. I think they will crumble. I think in midfield they weren't that great, but I think Iraola will. There's a lot to learn. I just don't think Liverpool looked that great, and yet they got a draw. But Newcastle, very positive from them. I think there's things to definitely look at. And if they can make 1 or 2 signings, I think now it's key that they keep Lewis Hall, they keep Livramento, they keep Joe Linton, they keep these sort of players. I thought Miley in the midfield was very, very good. They got on the ball, and it was always going to be a counter-attacking game from them today. And I think they put in a really, really good performance. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts, how you're feeling. Szoboszlai does rescue the point for Liverpool in the end. It's been a very good Premier League week. There's one more game to go tomorrow, where obviously Fulham face Chelsea, and we'll have you covered for that. And then we'll have the Premier League review show coming out as well. But let me know your thoughts. Man of the match, I haven't done one in all the videos. Man of the match, I think Wissa was absolutely fantastic in the game. His quality, didn't get a goal, that was the only thing that was missing, but his overall display was fantastic, and yeah, I think he's a top player.